best we've definitely seen from them so far this split has been when they've focused around AD carry, when they've given SMLZ the kind of, the Kog'Maws, the Aphelioses of such, and the facilities and the resources for him to be able to pop off.
I'm interested to see if IG want to ban out a Lilia, which might sound really weird. Anyone listening might be like, why would they ban Lilia? Hackers played like predominantly Lilia so far this split, which is so crazy to say because it's not a champion you really see in the meta, but has been something he's been defaulting back to. We are having standard meta bans coming out thus far, though. Pretty much all of the OP champions are taken off the board, barring the Renekton, and IG are actually going to let that one through.
They are going to let it through and see now if ZS or Xiao Xiaobao wants to take it. Wouldn't be something I would say would be a natural kind of reaction to a ZS, but Ultra Prime, they're taking their time with it. They're actually going to go for the Karma, so another high ban priority. And now, Invictus Gaming, do you want to go for the Renekton?
And I know this is already signaling, at least for me, that Senna comp coming out, the Karma Senna being something that is totally oppressive. With the Renekton, as we hit on earlier, it has received some nerfs to the healing that the Q does provide. So, not quite sure how much of that champion we are going to see. I still think it is extremely strong in laning phase. It does definitely hurt its potency in team fights especially, but we're going to go straight towards the Varus for Puff. This is one of the picks that Puff would typically go towards last time around. And then when we still have the Udyr open, that wouldn't be a big surprise for me for Shun, to pull out. If we don't get that, the other thing that would jump out in my mind is you're going AD soul laners and pulling out something like the Diana. With the Volibear pickup, that could be a jungler, but that has been one of Nani's go-tos. He's mostly been a Wukong and Volibear player so far. He's already played 3 games of the Volibear this split.
Yeah, something he's definitely comfortable on, and it does give him a little bit of flex, and it looks like Hacker are going to be taking the Jin Zhao into that jungle position. Now we kind of get to see the full scope of what Ultra Prime want to go for. They are hovering the Renekton, but not quite sure if they want to lock that one in just yet. And again, yep, there they go. They're going to lock that one in. So the Renekton goes through the first few picks and bans and ends up being picked up by Ultra Prime on the second rotation.
Yeah, and I would have really liked to see that Senna come out. I truly think the Senna Karma combo puts a timer on almost any other team comp you are going to go against, especially the fact that IG have already shown a Volibear pick, which, right, you'll always have use as just a frontline tank, but you still don't scale too well going into that late game. But we are going to see the Renekton come out, so going to have that strong top laner coming in. It is a potential flex, but with the fact that Ultra Prime haven't picked another bot laner, signals to me that they want to keep that Karma as a possible flex coming out for Xiao Xiaobao, especially with the fact that we do have Hacker going on the Xin Zhao, so something that can be empowered with a very supportive mid laner. And IG now just going to go straight towards the Nautilus, and they don't want to deal with any of those shenanigans. So Senna is off the board.
Senna off the board, as is the LeBlanc for Rookie, so Ultra Prime making sure that the mid laner of Invictus Gaming does not get anything that he can carry the game with. And I'm liking this from the side of Invictus Gaming. They're kind of just saying, look, we know what SMLZ likes to play, we know what kind of style you guys like to go for so far this split in terms of their success, and it has been towards that bot side. So they ban away the Senna, ban away the Kog'Maw, Ezreal as well, of course, in the first round of bans, and they first picked themselves the Varus, so they have priority in the lanes. The Rise going to be the final ban here from Ultra Prime as they try and get rid of that big split push team fight threat, or even just a kind of global, if you will, from the side of Invictus Gaming.
I am a bit surprised by the LeBlanc ban. It's something that Rookie plays a ton of in solo queue, but with the fact that Ultra Prime can still flex that Karma to mid, it's actually a very, very favorable matchup for the Karma. So that gives me an inkling that maybe they want to pick something else in the mid lane. The only thing that I think that you'd be afraid of as LeBlanc would be something like the Zoe coming out if Xiao Xiaobao wanted to pull out that one. And Shun is going to go back towards that Diana. That is where he's had the most standout performance this split in my mind. We knew it would be Nani up towards the top side with that Volibear. And now we are going to have Rookie getting the counter pick on the side of IG.
Nice little pickup. Of course, we did see highlights in our pre-game of Shun on this Diana, really able to make it one work. And we're seeing the Jhin as a pick into the Varus a hell of a lot more. We saw it a lot from JDG and earlier so far the split, and it feels like it is something that can do relatively well into the matchup.
I feel like the big thing about Jhin is you just bring a lot of laning power as well, right? You're not a champion who comes in weak, like the Ezreal, or just getting so outranged, like the Kai'Sa, to where you have decent range, you have a lot of power playing around that forward shot where Jhin doesn't need to, Varus needs to respect your windows, and then you're able to match that utility in terms of what your ultimate provides. The big thing about Ultra Prime's comp, though, right? It is, we are going to see them live and die in the early game. It has been Ultra Prime's strong suit. They have had pretty decent early games. I think back to their series against LGD where they got ahead both games, and I'm so happy we are getting Rookie on a carry champion. It was Rookie's best performance of the split where he picked up the Lucian, had a 13 KDA, and yeah, it's I'd say two very interesting compositions. Neither one scaling incredibly well into the late game. You have the shielding coming out from Karma on the side of Ultra Prime, and Varus isn't a champion who should be scoffed at in terms of scaling, I think, with either the AD carry or lethality build, just because his range is just so oppressive to put up with. But the thing I like about these comps, they signal a lot about mid-jungle 2v2s.
Yeah, big time. Of course, the Karma facilitates the Xin Zhao more so than the other way around, but the Lucian-Diana combination, if you're able to jump onto someone, get into their face nice and early, and you're able to get that, burst damage down, there is just so much you can do in that combination, be it in the mid with only a 2v2 or 2v1, or even around the map in general. And something we know that Rookie is very, very good at doing is influencing those side lanes. And like I said, I'm so happy to see Invictus Gaming go for this, carry around Rookie, carry around the top side. Varus and Nautilus will be totally fine in the bot lane. Varus shouldn't really have any issues whatsoever, and then they can maybe look for kind of a opportunity really to kind of create an advantage elsewhere. But on the side of Ultra Prime, they're looking to try and make those team fights. The Karma very, very good at those skirmishes, very good at kind of delaying the damage with those shields that we talked about. I'm curious to see now how that one goes with the how these games kind of progress into the mid-game team fights.
Yeah, the thing I'm most interested to see is the fact that IG do come out with more DPS on their side, right? Because Puff will go the lethality route, but you still do have another AD carry in the Lucian. And Lucian does build like your standard AD carry, so he will be able to output a lot of DPS in the late game. He will be able to contribute a lot to being able to burn down neutral objectives like the Baron. But at the same time, you do have a lot of AD damage in your comp. Sure, you do have the Diana coming out, and Volibear does have a lot of magic damage coming out as well, but I wonder once we get later in the game if the durability of armor stacking in the shield coming out from Karma will be enough for Ultra Prime, or if this IG composition where you should be able to get prio in a few of these lanes, we're going to wait for Shun to hit that level 6 mark, and that's when we're going to see a lot of action come out from that mid-jungle 2v2. For Ultra Prime, we want to see that action happen very early on. We're talking level 3, level 4, Hacker getting involved in his lanes, looking for some ganks towards top side, Xiao Sao hovering over, guaranteeing him scuttle crabs, looking to steal away enemy raptors. You have a lot of options as Ultra Prime with this.
See how it all pans out, really. See how it all goes for the side of Ultra Prime. But yeah, I feel like the Karma will lose a lot of its effectiveness towards that mid to late game, especially when you get the likes of Varus going towards those Serpent Fangs. Hell, you might even see Rookie go for it as well if they really do think the shielding is a big issue. But we'll wait and see. Shun is not spotted on that ward just yet, so knew that it went down, knew that he was going to be spotted, so he goes from his Raptors to his Krugs, and by the time he finishes off this camp, that ward should be dead, and he should be keeping himself nice and elusive, if you will, from the side or from the eyes of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, nice pivot by him to dodge that ward and deny information from the side of Ultra Prime for the time being. He is going to show now, so they are going to be able to potentially figure out his path. Both junglers making their way towards the bottom side of the map. With the fact that IG do have early prio in all 3 lanes, I think it should signal that Shun should be able to pick up that Scuttle Crab. For the side of Ultra Prime, you're going to be waiting for, I'd say, between the level 4 and 5 mark. Once Xiao Sao can get a few more points into his queue, and that's when Karma can start fighting back, just throwing mantra Qs at the wave, and start looking to contest prio to play with Hacker.
Curious to see now how they all kind of pan out. It's been a disappointing kind of fall from grace for IG over the last year or two. It really has been a slow descent into what we would have considered, a while ago to be a top team, the first Chinese team to win a world championship. I'm going to pause myself though a little bit. Deadly Flourish misses as the cleanse is used. Xiaoxi does flash away. Puff though in a lot of trouble. He gets caught out. And they do land the Q onto Baolan, but they do not want to go any further with it. First blood goes over to Ultra Prime.
And just nice job of Hacker, you know, looking for the level 3 gank bot. It is one of the strengths of Xin Zhao that he's able to look for this. And the fact that they get that kill should mean they can look for the Scuttle Crab. Shun looking like he wants to look for the burst, but might have just given up his life.
I mean, Shun, what was the point in that? He stayed in the brush to walk away? It made no sense whatsoever. And that is an easy pickup here for the side of Ultra Prime. 2 kills now going over to Hacker. And we were just singing his praises in the pregame about how Shun has had actually a really good start to the split. That was just weird.
And I'm wondering if he was like waiting and hoping he'd be able to find an angle onto Xiaoxi, who was low, and maybe burst him out. And then Baolan is waiting in the wings right. You then have a 2v2, and Rookie's the one who was pushing mid so he can move over. But yeah, that's not what happened. He saw that Hacker was clearly the one walking up to the brush first, and then just gives over his life. So big error coming out from the side of IG. It's going to completely waste the fact that Rookie has all this pressure in the mid lane. The fact that he does, though, still means Shun will be able to get a Scuttle Crab. But let's remember, at the end of the day, the mistake came down towards IG's bottom lane getting punished by Hacker.
Yeah, great start to the game for Hacker. Now got his Iron Spike whip very early on into this game, and really should be able to influence these side lanes. And this is exactly what you want if you're on the side of Ultra Prime. We talked about how, you know, this Xin Zhao will be facilitated by the Karma, but it also, we didn't really get to touch on it, but the Renekton Xin Zhao combination on that top side becomes so difficult to deal with if you're on Nani's side, because yes, you're a Volibear, yes, you're relatively tanky, but they have so much damage and CC that they can put onto you. They'll just stop you from getting to the safety of your turret. You have to respect it.
I feel like the biggest thing this does as well is it means that any 2v2s or 3v3s that break out should be Ultra Prime favorite at this point in time. And I would love to see Hacker start making his way towards mid once Rookie gets back to lane. Even if you aren't finding a kill onto Rookie, whether you're just forcing him off the wave or blowing a flash, opening up that prio, because Shun and Rookie definitely still aren't able to fight that 2v2 at this point in time. You would really need Rookie to have some sort of insane outplay without Shun being level 6 at this point. And then you could start looking for those plays down towards the bottom side like we are seeing Hacker already start looking for now.
Well, Hacker is floating towards the spot side. Doesn't have his flash at the moment, neither does Xiaoxi. As we see now, they go in. They're going to try and make this one. This will be a native 3v3, though, as Xiaoxi takes a lot of damage and is just not really in sync with his jungler. Nice return kill here for Invictus Gaming, but Hacker just was about 2 seconds off the play, and Xiaoxi punished for it.
I also feel like Hacker was very hesitant for the fact that Xiaoxi teleported back to the mid lane, because since Rookie got the prio on the reset, he can just walk back to lane. Xiaoxi forced to TP. Both of IG solo laners did have TP available, so if they overcommitted to that play, IG solo laners TP down, and you potentially give over 2 or 3 kills.
You see Hacker still trying to double down here onto this bot side, but not really a lot he can do with the wave pushing in against him. They'll now know exactly where he is as he walks past that vision ward, but good response here from the side of Invictus Gaming, getting themselves a nice kill, and Shun just kind of, you know, just rubbing off or shaking off the rust, if you will, of from the last week. Just gonna say, new week, gotta come back into it. Just need a little bit of a time, but might have snuck himself up into this top side. Nani does run forward and tries to land down the WQ combination, but with the aggression in top side, I think Ultra Prime have pretty decent knowledge of where, at least where Shun isn't, and that is going to equal the first dragon of the game going over to the side of Ultra Prime.
Yeah, if Shun would have been able to steal away the blue buff, I think that actually wouldn't have been too bad. You get Scuttle Crab, you get enemy blue buff, you're taking away some XP on the map, and you're getting more gold. First dragon, not always the most valuable, but not going to be able to do that because ZS had a nice pivot where while they were doing dragon, he also hovered towards his blue buff to make sure that Shun wasn't going for that invade, so going to deny IG while also gaining something. But I also want to hit on a point that you mentioned earlier about kind of the slow descent of IG, because I want to think back to 2020 that I feel like a lot of people forget this fact, and you'll see like community discussion of 2020 IG being like, IG was just bad, they weren't good, they had no chance, their roster, the Shy was bad, their bottom lane, etc., etc. Let's remember, spring split, IG finished first in the regular season. IG finished first. They were actually looking like favorites going into playoffs. The only series they dropped at the end was they played against Vici, and they were picking fun champions because it didn't matter for their placement. And then in summer, they finished third in the regular split. Both times in the regular season, IG looked like legitimate contenders, and it wasn't until playoffs where they completely fell flat.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think, you know, where the descent, in my opinion, comes from. I'm going to stop myself though, as Nani might be in a little bit of trouble. He flashes away. He's going to have to use his ult as well. The Stormbringer trying to bring away the fight as everyone now jumps in towards this top side. He's going to keep himself alive just long enough to put down the damage, and this is a nice return kill here from the side of IG. They get themselves 2 kills. Puff in a little bit of a bad situation. He's going to have to flash over the wall, as we do see the curtain call coming in here from Jhin. But that is just going to be too little too late from the side of Ultra Prime. It is going to be the Rift Herald and the fight going over to the side of IG.
Yeah, and Ultra Prime not able to get anything. Their bot lane didn't stay bot to try to get waves. I do understand though, because you are this heavy like fight now, early game comp. You have a lot of engage tools. You have a lot of aggression coming out, but in the end, IG were the ones who were able to punish. The fact that they also get the Rift Herald on top of that is going to be extremely massive. Now we're going to get to see where Shun decides to use that one as we do go into the replay. They're going to punish Nani, so this is actually the right move, right? You don't have numbers advantage going onto the Herald, but you're able to play up towards your lane that is able to fight to find the kill, but you're right over the wall to where Shun and Rookie are able to just easily follow in. Battleland aggressive flashing over as well. It was just a nice punish from IG where, hey, Ultra Prime might have used the place where IG didn't have numbers to find the pick, but just a really nice reaction coming out from them.
Yeah, nice little Dark Harvest prop there for SMLZ. As I say, that shouts out forced to flash away as the culling does pepper him in the back. Nice little move there, and a Summoner blown. Nice proactive move here from Rookie and Shun, and this is kind of what we wanted to see. This is what we wanted to see from the side of Invictus Gaming specifically, was that using Rookie as your carry, using him as the stepping board to push forward, gain advantages, and then gain, you know, extra little opportunities around the map. And speaking of that, there's no flash on Xiao Xiaobao, and that means that Shun can go straight in with the Moonfall. Speaking of going straight in, they're going to try and go in on top of Puff, who has to use the cleanse. He doesn't quite get out the way of the solar flare. They are going to try and drop down a little bit more. There's the deadly flourish with on top of the Dark Harvest is enough to catch them out in that bot side. Feel like Baolan should have blocked that one, but it does mean that while that's all happening in the bot side, Hacker picks up a bit of a wave, and a lot of plates go over to IG in the mid lane.
I mean, first of all, Shasabao, welcome back to getting bullied by the enemy mid-jungle.
Yep.
Once again getting dove by the side of IGs. We are going to get a replay of that. Looks like he did take a pretty bad trade with Shun and Rookie. Actually, looks like it was a 2v2, because we just saw the Hacker was there as well and backed, able to capitalize on that. And then for Puff and Baolan, they just give a window for a really easy E onto Puff, where they're able to find the engage. He's doing his best to sidestep the abilities. And then, like you said, the W coming out, Baolan doing his best, but not there in time. And yeah, nice punish by Ultra Prime. Man, we just keep getting action. I love when we have teams like IG and Ultra Prime on the Rift, because things just don't stop. We go down and there's more, there's
Rookie,
more.
He's almost got it. He's just waiting for him, trying to find him. There is a culling available to him should he need it. He flashes just for style points. Now he knows here comes another challenger. Fight, round 3, as he goes in on top of Hacker, who's trying to just get him down with the Gore Drinker fully completed, though it is a pretty easy kill for the Xin Zhao, and kill after kill after kill after kill. We are coming into a proper LPL game in our second series.
Yeah, just once again, Shasabao not showing the greatest performances, despite how much praise we gave him coming into the split. We thought Ultra Prime would try to play more around him. The fact that Rookie just had endless prio in the mid lane meant we never got to see it. We never saw any like transferring of pressure coming from either Xiaoxi hovering over, or even just Hacker leaning, putting down some control wards and forcing Rookie off the wave and like trying to forcibly create that point of pressure. But Ultra Prime were a lot more looking towards the weakness of IG and one of the strengths of their team, right? SMLZ and Xiaoxi in lane have been able to find a lot of 2v2 kills and put a lot of enemy duos, keep them on their toes.
Yeah, definitely able to, as you say, keep them on their toes. As I say that, Shun now back into this Dragon Pit. Going to be hit up with a Solar Flare, but does get the Moonfall down. Not quite able to keep himself alive, but does take out the support before he does fall. Now we can see the 2 supports are dead on either side. It's a 2-for-1 trade, though, in favor of Ultra Prime. And they've got Renekton coming down off the top side. They need to be a little bit careful, though, with his positioning. Nani not quite got his flash up available to him yet, but Puff with no escape. His flash was just off of cooldown, and he ends up falling as well. 0-3 on this Varus, 0-4 in total for the bot lane. And IG, they're going to start to be feeling a little bit sweaty right now, because Ultra Prime are starting to stack dragons and bring back this gold.
And Hacker, just such an animal, finding all those windows to be able to get on the members of IG and secure those kills. SMLZ getting pretty massive as well. Rookie trying to find something back in the mid lane by putting some damage on the turret, but Xiaoxi might punish him. Doesn't have flash available.
Doesn't have flash, should have the Gale Force. He's going to use the dash there, but the flash in on top of that will be enough to keep him underneath the tower. As to say that, they're going in now in the river, I should say, excuse me, as ZS gets into Dominus, pops the Call to Meek, gets himself a nice little kill. Very, very unfortunate little movements here from IG, and it feels like they're being just a little bit greedy, a little bit of misunderstanding of where their power lies at the relevant times.
Yeah, I also feel like Battleland misplayed that one a little bit. Rookie probably still would have died, but I think as Battleland there, you don't throw out Dredgeline immediately. You just walk up, hit your passive, let Rookie try and walk upwards, and then you throw out the Q to try to, create more distance. But hooks him right in, then you have no chance of Rookie being able to get away from him. And this has just been pretty sad for the side of IG, where we've seen them keep up that push in the mid lane. That's where they found a lot of their advantages, coming towards being able to get on that Rift Herald first and then take that following skirmish. But Puff especially getting extremely punished in this bottom side of the map. And we've highlighted Hacker, we've talked a bit about SMLZ, but Xiaoxi. We were talking about Battleland being fearless, Xiaoxi in that same vein of supports, where if this man sees an engage, he's pretty much always going to go for it. I like that he was also putting down pressure towards the mid lane as well.
Oh, Rookie, gotta be so careful with those trades. To say that the flash forward, Xiao gets hooked in, Baolang gets a kill. That aggression that you saw is just enough to pick up a kill and pick up the mid lane turret.
I just don't understand why Xiao Sabao would walk up there for, I think he Q'd and then W'd, right? Why are you walking up when there are 3 members right in front of your turret? Sure, Hacker's on the other side of his Raptor wall, but you're in front of a Nautilus, a Diana, and a Lucian. They are going to instantly burst you. And this should mean a free Rift Herald for IG. You can see Ultra Prime are positioning like they want to contest. Hacker's extremely strong right now.
Hacker is extremely strong. There will be the Rift Herald going over to the side of IG. They will lose Baolan, who had no flash and no ultimate to try and defend himself. Now they can go in with the Moonfall and the Stormbringer, so it's going to be a little bit of kiting needed, but 2 kills already to ZS as he tries to just get himself back into the game. And then, yes, you got the Rift Herald, but you weren't able to pick it up. And right now, IG, I'm not quite sure what they're expecting right now. Xiaoxi might be in a little bit of trouble. There's the Gale Force used, but he lands the Zenith Blade to try and just stop Rookie from backing away and just stun him very, very slowly and very, very softly to get him killed. This game is just all over the place.
Yeah, and to be fair, I can empathize with what IG were doing there, right? You gotta pick onto the enemy mid laner. Logically, you think, okay, we have a numbers advantage on the Rift. We are gonna be able to take the Rift Herald for free. They were able to get the Rift Herald, but I like that Ultra Prime realized that they were able to take that fight. They're extremely tanky with the members that they had alive, right? Xiaoxi, ZS, and Hacker. And also the fact that you have things like the Gore Drinkers coming out on the top side of the map means we saw, especially ZS, able to survive that first rotation, get out of the fight, and get back in. As we are going to see here, Battleland was extremely low from that mid lane dive, so even though you think you have a numbers advantage, it is pretty much more like a 3v3 with the fact that it took ZS one combo. But this goes back to what we're talking about with the durability. They're able to kite out, get back in. Xiaoxi doing a great job of buying time as well. And then guess what? SMLZ made his way towards the top side first, so there's even more threat of that going down. And we don't get to see the nice play from Rookie at the end, where Xiaoxi is able to kind of take him down from the grave, but 2 dragons for the side of Ultra Prime. 1K gold lead, so not massive. But so far, they're just dictating the game. They have bounties everywhere. It doesn't even matter that you kept Xiao Bao down, because he's the cheapest build in the game. He's just going full support items. He's going to be able to be useful. Mantra E his whole team. And yeah, for the side of IG, your Varus has fallen behind. Your top laner hasn't really been able to get ahead. Sure, you do have kills and CS on both your mid jungler, but that doesn't really mean too much if your front line can't outlast theirs.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. With the double Gore Drinker now for the Renekton and the Xin Zhao, it just becomes so difficult to really make this, kind of damage stick and to take them down as quickly as you would like. They're going to need a pretty good engage onto the back line. They need to kill off SMLZ as quick as they can, just so they know that long-range damage with the Curtain Call, and of course with the Deadly Flourishes, isn't available to the side of Ultra Prime. But on the other side, we do see that Navy has got himself a Bramble Vestal to go alongside his Divine Sunderer, and you have got the Essence Reaver now alongside the Gale Force for Rookie. So there is playmaking ability here for the side of IG. They just need to try and find the right fight.
Yeah, and we need to remember that at this point in time, IG's comp is still just very burst reliant, right? We're not later into the game where Lucian is picking up more items and is able to just off-put more DPS. With just Gale Force and Essence Reaver come out, you pretty much just are another bursty assassin. IG, though, are going to be conscious that they're not strong enough to take this fight just yet. They're just going to path back towards the top side of the map. They didn't even walk into Ultra Prime's jungle, but no camps are really up anyway. Certain camps are starting to come up now, so just some vision going to be laid down. But now IG are going to have to rotate back towards the mid lane to answer the push coming out from up.
Yep, Dragon secured. That does mean Soul Point now for the side of Ultra Prime, so in 5 minutes' time, they will have themselves a big objective to fight around. And honestly, the way these fights have gone, you tend to favor the side of Ultra Prime. Invictus Gaming just haven't really been on the same page. There's been small little moments where they've outplayed it, but it really has not been 100% them at all the time. And for Shousey on this Leona looking fantastic, really giving his team his best, the best kind of setup he possibly can. And I think for Ultra Prime, you're pretty happy with the state of the game. It's an equal gold setup, but you've got 3 dragons, your Renekton and your Xin Zhao are incredibly fed, your Jin's on 2 items. There's a lot of positives here for the side of Ultra Prime.
And I think that's the roughest part, right, is the fact that you have the hardest members to burst be the ones who picked up all the gold, or are building their items faster, going to be hardest to take down, and they both still do a significant amount of damage at this point in time. So I'm going to have to see how IG can adapt with that one. Also, interestingly, we are seeing SMLZ go the rapid fire cannon second. Has been something that we have been seeing more and more of since Jhin has come back into the meta. That extended range being quite nice, especially when there are a lot of like compositions that can easily get onto you, and you being able to kind of pseudo keep up with that range that Varus is throwing out, even if it is every so often.
See how it goes pan out. Of course, as you said, the rapid fire cannon just keeps him a little bit out of harm's way, as Rookie does end up conceding the top lane tier 1 in order to keep himself safe, and it looks like they're just going to try and trade that one back into the bot lane tier 1. So a trade of turrets does keep IG in relative equality to the gold that Ultra Prime have accrued for themselves, and is going to be a bit of a scrap happening in 3 minutes time. I don't imagine any team is going to want to try and fight for the next 3 or so minutes. It's going to be a big time for them to farm up, get themselves some gold, get themselves their 2nd/3rd items, and look to try and make this fight happen for them. If you're Ultra Prime, if you get this Mountain Soul, it is huge. You basically just nullify all of what this Varus does in terms of poke, and becomes very difficult for the side of IG to get anything. But for Invictus Gaming, if you can get yourself the, a couple of stacks of dragons, if you can get yourself to the point of which you are, looking for the soul yourself, you're delaying, you're getting gold, you're getting items, and you're getting yourself back into this game.
And you can already see, right, Rookie's making his way towards the Sorelda's Grudge is what I would assume is being made with that Last Whisper, and Puff extremely close to the Serpent's Fang with the Serrated Dirk and the pickaxe coming out. So if they can just farm those next 2 minutes, I assume Puff should be able to get the Serpent's Fang. Not sure if Rookie will be able to pick up enough gold for the Sorelda's Grudge in time, but those items definitely going to help out against the immense front line from the side of Ultra Prime. Still not a ton of resistances coming out. They are making their way towards their Styrex gauges, as we do just see Hacker was able to pick up his. Sha Sao Bao still just going on with the fully defensive build. And now for IG, the problem is there's not really too many more ways you can play out your composition. It's not like you can just default send Rookie to a side lane, try and have him punish, because, right, I think Zetas would be fine. Sure, he might not be able to kill Rookie. Rookie could probably kite that out, but you have to be much more afraid of someone like Hacker piling down and looking for that 2v2 on bottom side, as compared to if Shun shows up, because I feel like IG would definitely lose out in that 2v2 department right now. So you really only have team fights to go off of, unless you can try and force vision down in bottom side with Nani pushing and hope to catch someone out. But even catching someone out would rely on someone on Ultra Prime making a mistake.
Yeah, and that's what they're looking for right now on the side of Invictus Gaming. Ultra Prime need to just, step a little bit too far forward, maybe go a little bit too ham on a pick potential, and Invictus Gaming can turn it around. It is definitely by no means over for the side of Invictus Gaming, but with the 3 dragons stacked, it means that in 50 seconds time, they have to fight at this. They have not got a choice. Whether or not they would like to is not relevant right now. They have to fight at this. They cannot let that objective go over to the side of Ultra Prime. Jousy just backing himself around, trying to see if he can clear away any of these wards. For Invictus Gaming, they're just trying to see if they can keep the agency, keep themselves on the front foot at this Dragon Pit. And I'm being totally honest, for Ultra Prime, like, yes, you can fight it, but if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling like you have a good position to go for it, you don't really have to. As Hacker take down to about half HP, and so does Nani. Nani may have to use his ultimate to try and get himself out. Solar Flare doesn't really land onto anybody, and Shousey goes a bit far too deep. You can see the flash forward here from ZS to try and see even get the dominance going, but they're kind of just whittling down these health bars. They're not really able to get Shousey out and SMLZ into this fight. They're always just a little bit further behind, as we can see the flash forward, flash away by Xiao Xiaobao, and here comes the curtain call. These health bars are very, very low. They will tank up all of those shots. There's the deadly flourish on the last little bit of tick of it. Nani still has his flash, still has his teleport. He'll look to recall and come back into this fight.
You know, it's so weird because Ultra Prime just funneled in one by one, right? Shousey went in and died, and then Hacker went in and got chunked low, ZS went in chunked low, and they never were able to walk in as a united unit. Nani coming back with the TP, though.
Here we go. Oh, stolen! He gets it. Shun able to get it, and they take down the Renekton as well. Shun will give his life in service to his team as they stop the dragon stacking. They've also killed the jungler and the top laner. If they didn't lose their jungler themselves, they may have looked for that Baron, but great turnaround play there from IG. And unfortunately for Ultra Prime, they have to wait another 5 minutes.
And for Ultra Prime, like I said, it originally goes back to me of one, trying to walk in through that choke point of River, because I can understand why their backline doesn't feel comfortable walking in, right? You're walking into what could be a Diana ultimate, volley bears there. You're going to be getting hit with the arrows coming out from Varus. But even then, I think they could have pivoted towards mid lane, because now they come in. Sure, the members of IG are low, but it's still going to end up being what is going to be a numbers advantage for IG. The fact that Ultra Prime are the ones focusing down Drake means IG can more freely just use their abilities on the members of Ultra Prime and end up picking up those kills. So I think even going back to the start of the fight, Ultra Prime pivot back to mid lane, try to push in through River together, where it isn't such a narrow choke point. And then we even saw the work of how much Xiao Xiaobao's shields were doing in that engage. We saw how much times that S and Hacker can buy just being in there by themselves, taking all that damage. So I think we need to see a more united front coming in from Ultra Prime and like realizing how their composition takes fights and where they can get their prio to walk into terrain like that.
Yeah, it did feel like they were, as you said, funneling in, not really sure if the carries were comfortable, and even despite that, they almost came out with themselves a team fight win, but wasn't to be. It was IG who were able to steal that Drake, which was the very important thing in this particular fight. It was a straight up just 50-50. Shun got the smite off before Hacker was able to. And a little note, actually, we never really kind of talked about it because we've been saying how it's been banned or, not allowed to be used. Hex Flash is back because it does no longer have the bug as we are on a new patch. So 11.12 does give us that little bit of a ruin change. And now you can see IG with 3 items onto their Diana, 3 items onto the Lucian. They are looking to try and catch people out. And speaking of getting catch out, whoa, Shousey! I think that's a little bit too far, buddy. I don't think you can go that far. And as Shousey goes golden to try and keep himself alive, but he is dead. He goes over the wall with Rookie and just no one able to follow him up. And now if you're IG, a lot of the engage is dead. You could maybe look to try and bait out this Baron. Rookie, a little bit of trouble though, but he should be able to get himself out. They're waiting for this little scuttle vision to go down, and they might look to try and burst it, but I think this is a little bit too risky now.
Man, and Shousey and the rest of Ultra Prime just have 2 different ideas of how they should be taking these fights, right? Shousey at this point pretty much is running it down into IG, but you can see he expects the other members of Ultra Prime to be able to follow up and go in with him, but 0, 5, and 8 on this Leona. Numbers advantage once again for IG.
Here we're going to go, 5v4 at the Baron Pit as Hacker is on the front line. He's going to try to keep himself alive. You can see just the shields, the heals doing so much, but now they're in the full retreat as ZS tries to keep himself up. The Morello Namacom, the Grievous Wounds doing so much, just keeping him down. Rookie, fearless, man on a mission, goes forward without any hesitation and keeps himself and his team in the ascendancy, in the driver's seat, and in the push forward. They are now going to be able to get themselves reset, go and look to try and push out these waves, and they're keeping the gold ticking in their pockets.
And that's the thing, right? When we were in this game 5 minutes ago, it was a slight gold lead for Ultra Prime, 1.5 to 2K. Now, 3,000 gold lead for IG, punishing the missteps coming out from the members of Ultra Prime, not being able to get their formation for team fighting down. We are going to see here, it's just going to be Ultra Prime walking in. Hacker looks for the engage. They want to make sure this Baron doesn't happen, but Nani jumps in, causing a lot of distraction. Shawsabao and SMLZ not able to hit the members past him, to where all the other members of IG are just able to focus down Hacker. ZS also Eing in. Is just going to give up another kill over to the side of IG, and IG are going to take those happily.
Honestly, it's not going to come up into pretty much any of the stats, but the fact that Nani literally stood there and just soaked up all of the damages, forcing, of course, the SMLZ to go into the rotation of the auto attacks for Jhin, it just made it so much easier for the backline to feel safe, to feel like they can just kind of put all of their efforts into killing off this front line from the side of Ultra Prime. But with 35 seconds into this Dragon, we got a couple of items here for everybody. Rookie does not quite get any real damage there onto SMLZ, and importantly for SMLZ, he now has 3 items. He's finished up his Infinity Edge, so he is absolutely bursting down these health bars if he lands that 4th shot.
You know, the thing, though, is why Nani can tank for so long is Ultra Prime actually have no AP. With the fact that Shawsabao is building full support, just picking up the Mikhails on his last pack.
ZS gets caught out and taken down. Rookie picks up that kill, and now again it's a 4v5 in favor of Invictus Gaming, but you've used so many ultimate, so many engage tools. I don't know if you could really contest for this Dragon anymore, and that's going to be another Drake in the back pocket of Invictus Gaming. That's 2 Mountain Drakes now. These resistances, and you talked about it just very briefly there, Nani's becoming unkillable.
Yeah, I don't know what you do when not only would your champions just become outscaled naturally anyway from the fact that you are, you know, Jhin, Xin Zhao, and Renekton, but you have mid Karma, so again, full support build coming out, and then the enemy tanks are just able to itemize full armor, and you aren't able to follow up with those kills. So IG naturally outscaling. It does feel like Ultra Prime were in a position of power for a little bit, and then they kind of threw away their advantage. Maybe they could have tried to snowball this game really hard aggressively early on with those skirmishes they were winning, but I feel like the clock has kind of timed them out. IG incredibly strong right now. We even see another item coming out for Nani off of his last back. Rookie probably incredibly close as well. So for the side of Ultra Prime, you're looking for a pick, right? I think you're looking to rotate your Jhin and Leona towards one of your soul laners, open up that curtain call, trying to find a pick off onto one of the sides, and hope that brings you back into the game.
And again, this comes back to the start of the day when we talked about, you know, you're only as strong as your weakest link for the side of IG. You are seeing how powerful individually these players are, as we can see them now going up towards that top side, even committing to teleport to it as well. But just the fact that Rookie and Nani and Shun are having such a fantastic game, such a great time in this game to be able to keep their team in it, that it didn't matter that the bot lane went 0-4 right at the start of this series. You know, it didn't matter that Puff and Baolan haven't really been able to have the same kind of impact as we've seen from other bot lanes, even from the likes of SMLZ and Xiaoxi. So the fact that the side of IG are able to get themselves into such a great position is testament to how strong they can be. But it's not over just yet. There still is a lot of ways that Ultra Prime can get themselves back into this game. We just need to try and find them or even create them by forcing IG into, you know, poor decisions.
Yeah, but IG right now are the ones trying to do the forcing, right? They're controlling all the vision in River. They're trying to bring Ultra Prime into an area where they don't have vision. They're taking away all of Ultra Prime's vision, and now they can just stand around this Baron and make Ultra Prime wonder, hey, are they starting up this objective? Do we need to walk in, and are we just going to get engaged on by Nani?
Getting late enough, 32.5 minutes there, or just about 4,000 gold lead, or just under it. Ultra Prime just taking so much poke here from this Varus. That's all Puff has to do. Just keep throwing out the piercing arrows. Keep getting yourself there. Shousey flashes forward, does land himself the solar flare, but Golden immediately is shut, and now Shousey underneath a turret is dead. This is actually a 4v4 as Rookie was in the top side. They thought this was going to be the play. They thought this is what they could do. Nani is just not taking any damage. IG very much looking like they're going to be able to come out with the win here. There's just nothing that Ultra Prime can do.
I mean, this is just pure desperation coming out from Ultra Prime at this point, right? They can feel the clock is not on their side, and IG are in the favorable position. They're going to have to go for this kind of gamble where they're opening up the curtain call. They try to get Hacker in there with the steal. He does have Smite up.
They do have Smite, but they're not going to go for it. It's going to be IG going for the fight straight away off the back of this fight. They're actually going to turn in. It's actually Shun who dies to the Baron, and a turret does go down as well in the mid lane. They're going to see now a little bit of a fight kind of separated around, but Rookie's feeling good. Rookie's feeling confident. Rookie's feeling like he might be able to make this one happen for his team as he's just critting and pushing forward. Rookie, a man on a mission, gets the fight for his team. Ends up being a 4-for-1 if you include the side of Shousey, as we can see now ZS might be in a little bit of trouble. The TP coming down as well. Still a minute until this dragon spawns, and I think IG goes straight back to the Baron.
Give us Rookie on damage dealers more consistently, Penguin. This is some of the stuff we love to see when Rookie has champions that can, one, show off his mechanical prowess, aggressively dash forward, and put out the damage. We're going to see here, for Ultra Prime, they know they need to look for it. Hacker goes in immediately, and we are going to see Shun get taken pretty low out from all the damage from the initial burst coming out from likes of ZS and Hacker, SMLZ with the curtain call, but getting taken down by the Baron, then Rookie's completely popping off, trying to flash away from any skill shots that can come out from SMLZ, trying to flash into the bush where he might not have vision. He can't hit him with that forward shot, and then he's able to easily follow up on Xiao Xiaobao.
Yeah, well, Baron was taken in 23 seconds until this Mountain Drake spawns. Match point number 3 here for the side of Ultra Prime, as we do see a teleport coming in from ZS. He's immediately spotted out, so they know exactly where he is. Actually, might have caught out Shousey again. He goes forward. He's just been CC'd down. The solar flare comes out, but it just about keeps him alive. Never mind. Nani jumps in on top of him. The bear is still going. He's just too tanky. It takes them so long. It was the ignite of Shousey, but this was now Rookie dead. This could be a little bit of a bad play here for Ultra Prime. Never mind. The Varus is there to pick up the pieces, and that's a 5-for-2 in favor of Invictus Gaming. They don't even need the dragon. They're going to go for the game.
Yep, IG definitely have the death timers. They should be able to go for this push. This was a completely back and forth game. IG falling behind early on, but they waited out the onslaught. They took the fights, and now IG gonna bounce back with this win.
Has been destroyed.
Great win from behind here for Invictus Gaming. Looked very shaky for them in the early game, but they were able to keep themselves composed, and they were able to keep Rookie's head up, and he really did drag them by hook or by crook into the victory in game 1.
And I feel like we saw overall nice team fighting later on coming from IG as a whole. Nani especially. I mean, he did so much, right? He was buying so much time, taking all that damage. Some nice engages and counter engages coming out from him. So then when the fight was extended, right, Shun gets off his ultimate, Rookie's able to dash in, and then Puff in a roll, he's comfortable. I stand back, I throw out my Qs. Rookie does go down in that last fight, but at the same time, even still, your tanks are still alive. They're so far ahead. You still have the freedom to output all the damage that's possible. And you're up against champions like Jhin who are still left up, where you're very gated by things like your forward shot. And you are very much more of, right, a utility-based champion and like a caster-based AD carry. So they were able to win out in those extended skirmishes. And it's nice to see IG picking up the win. But games like this just make me realize, right, IG, whether it's the 17th place team or the first place team, I think IG will always put up a fight. We've seen that this split. They can lose to teams like OMG. They can struggle against Ultra Prime. They could almost take down EDG. They were comfortably stomping them until, one bad play throws it all away. And this team is such an enigma who will always kind of play to the level of their enemies.
Yeah, they kind of have this weird aura about them of just like, all right, cool, well, this is the level you're at. Okay, we'll play at your level so you have a chance or something like that. It feels like almost like they're giving everyone a fair shot at trying to take them down because they started, like you said, they started off the split so brightly and, you know, able to take down Suning, almost taking down EDG, and everyone was kind of like, all right, EDG, or not EDG, excuse me, IG are back. IG are looking really, really good. And then it just kind of slumped a little bit and really didn't kind of go anywhere after for the next few games. And right now, you can even see it. Yes, they come out with a win in this game 1, but it wasn't easy, and it did look like Rookie had to really step up for his team to be able to kind of look at the damage he was putting out. 26,000 there. You can see there just like able to just pull this win out from absolutely nowhere.
On the opposite side, though, let's pour one out for Hacker. Hacker did his best early on in this game to try to get Ultra Prime the win, and then halfway through, we just started to see all these very forced engages, especially coming out from Shousey, where Shousey would just go in and just die, right? He went from like overwhelmingly ahead in the bottom lane dynamic to being 0-5 and 8 very quickly. And then we just saw a lot of moments where Ultra Prime would stagger as a whole, where when they tried to walk in through that entryway to River, but they didn't feel comfortable walking in against IG's composition. And you just saw, well, SMLZ's not outputting any damage in moments like that, so they're just able to whittle the members of Ultra Prime extremely low. And then the longer the game went on, it seemed more like frustration coming out and desperation from the side of Ultra Prime, especially from Shousey, who you could see clearly thought, hey guys, we need to fight now. We need to engage now. He would go in, he would die instantly. Right away, you have numbers advantage on the side of IG.
Yeah, it did feel like, you know, specifically as you mentioned from Shousey, it was like frustration, desperation, whatever words you want to use to call it, but it just felt like he was pushing for something that his rest of his team wasn't aware of, or the rest of his team weren't comfortable with, and it just kind of saw him a couple of times going in saying, I've got Rookie, and then looking behind him like, oh, I don't have damage. Like, where did everyone else go? Like, I'm by myself.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like, no, I was the one who was caught. Never mind. But it's a little bit unfortunate to see. Shousey, obviously a player we've been kind of keeping an eye on for a long time now.
Spring 2020. Think about it. He was so insane.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the guy, someone we've been kind of looking into, and I would like to see him maybe go towards something like a Thresh, maybe Thresh or Felios for these two guys, SMLZ, and of course, Shousey would be nice to see, but we'll have to wait and see what they're able to do. But for now, we're going to send it to a quick break, and when we return, we will be sending it to picks and bans for Game 2.